So CNN spoke to a panel of female swing voters in Pennsylvania. I think this segment is absolutely fascinating. The very last part is the part that made headlines, but pay attention to the rest of what they say too, because there's a lot of hidden gems in here.
How many of you, show of hands, support the impeachment investigation that is beginning?
Investigation? Sure.
The investigation.
Support it. Mm-hmm.
4 of you support that. Galen?
Well, it's a simple fact. It's never, ever, ever going to pass through the Senate. Congress isn't doing anything but inquiries and hearings and inquiries and hearings.
What they would say is that there's new information, and that's the Ukraine call.
Well, yes, there's consistently evolving information.
And so how many of you are comfortable with what President Trump asked for in terms of withholding military aid for an investigation of the Bidens?
Well, as a business owner, I wouldn't give up that kind of money if I thought something was going on. I think he had every right to ask
because
that.
it was a new president. Why are we giving Ukraine so much money anyway when we have homeless veterans on the streets? Like, really? Go to San Diego, go to Los Angeles, and you'll see them. It's pitiful. Those people.
That's where Congress should be working.
Exactly.
That's where they should be working.
Thank you.
Just so I'm clear on that. So you're comfortable with withholding military aid to Ukraine, though they're fighting Russia, because you don't like the idea that that money goes there anyway?
Well, I don't know why it's going there, but I'm saying if they have money to keep giving to everybody, why not help our own people first?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Are you comfortable, show of hands, with asking a foreign entity for help with dirt on a political opponent? Nobody is comfortable with that. No. You are comfortable with it, Crystal. Why do you think it's okay to ask a foreign power?
As President of the United States, he should be allowed to ask for military information.
Well, this is political investigation.
Well, even political information.
Does that bother you?
Didn't every other president do it?
I can't speak for any other president, but I know that
they all do it.
I don't know that to be true.
I don't know that to be true either.
So why are you hanging your hat on that?
I'm just saying.
But
I mean,
you're comfortable with it because that's how you think it works.
As a business owner.
As a business owner, yeah, it's.
So you just see this as a business transaction.
His business is this country. So getting dirt to benefit him does not benefit this country. That benefits him.
Yeah,
he's not a business leader.
And no matter what business you're in or what you're doing, accountability, it's bad practice.
Show of hands, how many would like the identity of the whistleblower to be revealed and think it should be?
That's not how it's supposed to work. The whole point is it's supposed to be one of those checks and balances where you can come forward and say, this is going on, and people don't know, and it's wrong.
It's like going to your human resources
department. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a confidential thing.
What's your response, Andrea?
I don't think that it should be revealed right now. I think that for historical purposes, that yes, it would be nice for the American people to know what happened, who saw this. Like,
you're curious, basically.
Yes.
Basically, you're saying you're curious.
Yeah, but that could get that person shot.
The point of the whistleblower is anonymity. So are you uncomfortable that President Trump calls for their identity to be unmasked?
I don't think it should be unmasked publicly.
But what if President Trump knows about it?
Then it'll be public.
That's wrong.
It'll be public. I mean, it'll be on Twitter, I assume, within 5 minutes.
How many people think the impeachment process will hurt President Trump?
I think it's going to hurt everyone.
Okay, so you think it will hurt President Trump. Is that to say that the other 5 of you think it will hurt the Democrats?
I think it's going to hurt everyone. I think when you splash mud, it hits everyone.
Yeah. And again, they're not going to get nothing done because they're doing all this, worrying about these hearings and impeachment.
To be fair, 490 bills have been passed by the House. 65 pieces of legislation
How many are sitting
came
in the
out
Senate?
of it. So 65 pieces of legislation.
I'm going to say, because a lot of things are coming out of the House and then dying in the Senate.
Absolutely.
Because they won't work together.
There's literally no compromise in it.
Right.
Compromise is not a thing.
Compromise?
Yes. No one's supposed to win all the time. Right. Everyone, from a business perspective, you compromise. You don't walk away every time.
Most of us are mothers, and we want everyone to work together.
Yeah. Crystal, is there anything that he could do or anything that could happen that would make you not vote for him?
No.
If he shot someone on Fifth Avenue, would you vote for him?
You'd have to know why he shot him.
Yeah, why did he shoot him?
So that last part is the part that's making all the headlines. Like, oh, why did he shoot him? So you wouldn't rule out voting for him if he literally shot somebody? No, why'd he shoot him? Yeah, I mean, I guess the point she's trying to make is like, well, maybe it was in self-defense. And so if it was in self-defense, then of course it's fine. But that's going to be the headline. That's what everybody's going to talk about. But I think the rest of what they had to say there was actually really, really interesting. So the thing that stuck out most to me is when they talk about the Ukraine thing, when they talk about impeachment, there's not, like, this isn't the silver bullet that the Democrats think it is. There's a lot of like, well, you know, hey, all the presidents do it. All the presidents try to get dirt. And well, the impeachment's not going to go anywhere anyway. And only one person thought the impeachment would hurt Trump. Only one person. And then a bunch of the others were like, I think it'll hurt both parties. I'd be curious to see if they should have asked who thinks it'll hurt the Democrats more. That would have been a good question. I would have liked to see the number of hands there. Remember, these are female swing voters in Pennsylvania. But the most interesting part was, well, I mean, they're focusing on the impeachment and the Ukraine thing, and like nothing's getting done. And then Allison Camerota says, well, the Dems passed 490 bills out of the House, but only 65 have come to a vote in the Senate. And then they all acknowledge that, and they're like, yeah, like, wow, they need to work together. Now, you guys know my whole thing on working together. Working together on what? Like, you got to be specific. What? If they're working together to deregulate Wall Street, I'm not in favor of that kind of working together. But if it's working together to do things that are good for the American people, like end the genocide in Yemen, well, then, yeah, that's a good thing, and I hope they do work together. But, see, the Democrats have a winning argument right there, and I haven't seen a single one of them make it. And the winning argument is, we passed 490 bills out of the House, and only 65 were voted on in the Senate. What's wrong with you? Why are the Republicans refusing to do their job governing? Here are some of the bills we passed. We passed election reform. In the House, they passed a minimum wage increase. They passed it. Go down the list. Have talking points of like 5 really good pieces of legislation that poll above 60%. Have 5 of them. And every Democrat, when they're getting interviewed by CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or any of the mainstream media networks, any of the nightly news shows, anytime they're given a press conference, whatever it might be, have every Democrat list off those 5 policies and say over and over, we passed it, we did our job, this is what the American people want, and Mitch McConnell ain't bringing it up for a vote. But instead, and here's the unfortunate thing, they did pass those 490 bills, only 65 of them were voted on in the Senate, but they never talk about it. They never talk about it. All day long, it's impeachment. All day long, it's, Ukraine, the phone call, the whistleblower, this, like all day long, it's that. I got news for everybody. Unless you're a deep political junkie, you're not getting in the nitty gritty of that stuff. You're just not. You know the cursory story. Oh, okay, so Trump tried to get dirt on his political opponent, Biden, but it's also true that Biden and his son are a little bit weary and corrupt, and I don't know why they were doing what they were doing with the Ukrainian natural gas firm. So, unless people really follow this stuff closely, they're not going to have a really fully formed opinion on all that stuff. You have to go deep to really be into that angle of this conversation. But what everybody does understand and what everybody can get is 490 bills we pass in the House. They're hardly voting on any of them in the Senate. And here are those pieces of legislation. It is infuriating that is not the centerpiece of what the Democrats are talking about. It is criminal that they haven't had their meeting and come out of there with the 5 policies they passed are the most popular and just repeat it over and over and over, because Trump is now saying all day, do nothing Democrats. That's his, new Twitter thing against the Democrats, the do nothing Democrats. That's not true. 490 bills coming out of the House, they are doing their job there. But they're never talking about it. And this, again, comes to my main problem, one of my main problems with the Democrats, which is they have no idea how to campaign, how to market, how to do their own PR, how to portray themselves in the best light possible. They're so wrapped up in the Ukraine gate thing and the impeachment thing that that dominates the entire political discourse. And you can in part blame the media for it, but more blame the Democrats, because if the Democrats force the conversation to be about the bills that they pass, which are popular, then the media would have to talk about it. And they'd be like, well, yeah, I mean, they did pass all these bills and it's the Republicans and Mitch McConnell blocking it. So if Trump say do nothing Democrats, that's not true. If anything, it's do nothing Republicans, because they're blocking everything in the Senate. So that's what I take away from this, that the 2020 election might be honestly an easy election for Democrats to win if they do what I just said. You have to, most of your dialogue, most of your commentary needs to be about those bills that you passed and why they're good and how they're being blocked. And then everybody will know, oh, so we want adults who do the actual work to help the people. Well, the Democrats are doing it. Look, 490 bills. They're doing it. They're doing it. But no, that's not the discussion we're having in the country. And instead, you get very nuanced. I mean, I know that last woman, oh, what did he shoot? What did Trump kill the person over? What did he shoot the person over? But most of those people had interesting views on a variety of different issues. But the one thing they all agreed on was like, do stuff. Like, do stuff. And the Democrats did it, but they're not talking about doing it. And that's a problem. Because what you want is everybody on that panel, instead of being like, do stuff, why aren't you doing stuff? Instead of that, you want them all to be like, well, it's true, the Democrats did stuff and it's McConnell and the Republicans blocking it. Once all those people think that, then the Democrats cruise to victory in the next election. Yet again, this is my free, strategizing advice to the Democratic Party, and they will proceed to not take this advice, and it'll be a nail-biter election, unfortunately, again.